All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Spoiler Kings. My name is Tank Kramer. I am with Brian the Grizzly, and we're going to talk about The Boy and the Heron, the new Miyazaki film. Studio Ghibli. They just put out amazing films, so we're going to see if this is up to par or slightly below.
But
before we,
Miyazaki is just one of the greatest filmmakers of all time in all history. I mean, so that's just amazing.
You know, and so many people discount a lot of his movies because they're animated, but they're great. You know, the stories are great. The animation style itself is amazing. You know, so yeah.
Well, it kind of hits everybody. It hits you because because it's animated. You know, it's not just it's for everybody, and I think that builds into the story of how good it is, and everyone can relate to it.
Yeah, and really, you can only the story he tells usually are probably best done in animation. You know, because he does get into very magical kind of like worlds. You know, and they usually revolve around a younger kid. You know, somewhere around the age of like 12, 13. You know, so where you're kind of becoming a little bit more adult, but you still have the innocence of a child. You know, and so he's able to, I think, attack or really hit you right where it in the feels, you know, with animation and being that kind of thing, you know, like Spirited Away, one of the best movies ever made. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And again, like you couldn't do that in live action. You know, they've done it. There's a stage play that you can actually buy the Blu-ray stage play of it, which I want to see, because I think they did it in Japan. But it's best told animated. You know, you get a big baby. Like, you can't do that. Like, you can't make an 8-foot giant big baby. You know, I know it sounds stupid, but yeah, you know, like No Face is so cool. And if you do CGI, I think it'll cheapen it a little bit.
It takes away from it.
You know, so you know, this one got some visuals too. We'll talk about. But before we get into our ratings, our likes, our dislikes, you have a quick like rundown of what it is.
Yeah, so it's, you know, yearning for his mother, a young boy named Mahito ventures into a world shared by the living and the dead. There, death becomes to an end, and life finds a new beginning. So that's very general, but
general. It's a pretty good synopsis of what the movie is. You know, because well, we'll get into some of the details of it. So yeah, we'll start off with some of the likes, man. What you like about this one?
I mean, it's beautiful. They're just off the top is so good. I mean, it takes you to a world. It's a perfect Studio Ghibli type of movie. I love the birds. I always feel like it's something you need to see in theater.
Yeah,
you know, I feel like this would just cheap as it if it's in a small screen. I love the story. The story is easy to follow. It really is. It's not like it wasn't too complicated for me. The as I said, the visuals are good. Robert Pattinson, I had no freaking clue. I know you said the same thing. I didn't know he was the Heron. What the fuck? I had no clue of what was going on. It's movie moves. It's pretty fast paced. It doesn't really stay too long. I don't know. I enjoyed the experience overall for it. It's not my favorite movie ever from them, but it was good.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much exactly what you said for me too. Is like this is a great looking movie. Holy crap, it was amazing. And I mean, there's certain things that you expect from a Studio Ghibli movie. It's gonna look amazing, which check. This looks really great. And it has a little bit different animation. There's a part where he's running through like this like fire, and things are a little bit more like messy almost, you know, like things are like kind of stretched. It looked really gorgeous, and it blended well with what the character was going through, like going through the fire, you know, and stuff like that. And then other parts it's like super sharp and really well done. So yeah, so that's check. And then you expect an insane voice cast. You know,
it is
for every single Studio Ghibli movie, there's insane, like just like great. And this one definitely, Christian Bale, Florence Pugh, Robert Pattinson, Mark Hamill, of course, because he's the GOAT for voice acting.
Dave Bautista.
Dave Bautista's in this one. So yeah, you have a lot of like big names. I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones. Those are just
William
off the top
Dafoe.
of my head. William Dafoe. Yeah, shit, that's right. Yeah. William Dafoe is in it too. So you got a lot of cool, like great, actors in this one. So yeah, so those were right off the bat like super awesome. It wasn't man, it was kind of confusing. Yeah, man, it was.
I don't know if it was confusing. I mean, it moved from element to element to element.
It moved,
but it was like, so what happened? Like, and it was hard to get into the movie if that's hard, but that's into negatives.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I think let's just get into the negatives because besides that, which are those are all around. I think the negatives is when it starts getting issues because like I had issue with some of the character development, some of the pacing was very uneven,
slow sometimes.
It was slow at times, and then there's other times where it flies by. You're like, wait a minute, what's happening? What's going on? And it's a lot. Where like. And that works fine when things need to happen fast. They need to happen fast, which I get why, especially towards the end of the movie, why things happened very, very fast. But it was maybe a little too much all at once. But for me, Miyazaki always has like a message, like a very like impactful kind of feeling. This one was kind of there. But I think it missed. I think it missed that Miyazaki feeling that he always has in a lot of his movies, and that was kind of the issue with it. It was kind of confusing at certain parts, because
you did want life and death and what's going on and why
you're full spoiler. You're in a different like dimension, where it's outside of time and space, so that alone already causes a lot of problems, but well, I'll let you go because I got more, but I'll let you go.
My biggest problem, as I said, some parts were slow, but then all the emotional scenes, the scenes where like I really felt like I was feeling for the character, they were cut short. Every time when you're really starting to get these draws you in, they just stop it right there. And I feel like you never complete the thought, for a movie that's supposed to be very thought provoking and all of that stuff. And I never get totally completed. I always feel like, there's something more. I should be able to enjoy, go through the full range of emotion to really kind of grab me and bring me into the movie. And most of those times when I felt that way, it's kind of fell short. So as much as I enjoyed the movie, and as much as I wanted to say like this is great, is this great thing, but it just, I mean, the creatures are all creative, but there's some things that are just kind of nightmare fuel. There's some nightmare fuel in it.
He does that a lot though too. He does nightmare fuel pretty well with the animation.
And my last thing, sometimes it was hard to empathize with the protagonist. Like I couldn't get with it, like, oh, I should care about this character, but I didn't always. So that's what I'm saying. The emotional thing just kind of didn't bring me in all the time.
It was hard to, like you said, it was so hard to connect with him, at certain times. And other times you're like, yeah, I get that, like, man, that sucks. This sucks. I get it. And another one was once he's in here and he meets this fire girl, right away, I knew that was his mom. Right away.
Yeah.
But but then I'm like, okay, he doesn't know, right? Maybe he knows because there's a part where she cooks him like some bread or something like that. He's like, oh, this is just like my mom's. I'm like, oh, he doesn't know. But then at the end of the film, she's like telling him, she goes, oh, I need to go through this story because I need to go back to my time so I could be your mom. And he's just like, oh yeah, I understand. It was like, so did he know or did he not know? And I feel like that's where some of the rush of the pacing was like, at what point did he know or did he ever know? It's just because that's a lot. Us as the viewer understood who she was, but I'm waiting for the character to realize like who she was, and we never got that. It was like it just happens, and then everything's happening so fast, he just continues going, you know. Yeah, I don't know.
I felt like it was a plot problem sometimes. Like things were happening and you know, but it wasn't like being driven by the story sometimes. And you know, like it almost lost direction. And I think that was, you know, I mean, that's probably my biggest negative. You know, overall, and I think that's what the whole pacing, all that stuff, kind of goes into that. The plot lost direction sometimes.
One last thing for me was it took forever for the main character to get into the magical world. You know, usually Spirited Away, right away. Totoro, right away. Some of these things are like really fast. Like the main character gets involved into, or in you know, becomes part of this magical world. You know, it wasn't really towards like later in the second act, really.
Yeah, it was like,
you know, that he gets in here, and then it just boom, boom, boom. You know, and then but then that's when I started caring about it. But then it happened so fast that I didn't have time to appreciate it and enjoy what I was doing, because you know the little puffballs. Loved it. He always has to have a cute little puffball kind of thing, you know. Like he had the tree spirits, he had the little soot sprites. He always has these cute things, and then to find out like their souls, I'm like, that's awesome. That's super cool, you know. And
but why are you running past it instead of letting it sit down and telling us what's going on? Like that's important.
Yeah, and then stuff happens with them, you know, where and then it just boom, we're on to the next part. We're on to the next part. I was like, no, I want to know what's going on with the little puffball souls, you know. It's like, you know, it's like it was like cool stuff. This could have been a masterpiece, I feel like, you know.
It was close. Like, you know, there's things, these are, so we're talking about details, you know, when we really kind of dive into it. This is a detail that we're just not, you know, it didn't hit or certain things. But overall, when you look back at it, I enjoyed. I had a good time. I thought it was well done. Just when you have masterpieces, and you have 6 or 7 that are masterpieces.
Yeah,
I feel like this falls a little short.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just jump into our ratings then. So here at Spoiler Kings, we do things nice and simple. Now, later, never. Now means you go check it out right now. Later means you wait till it's at home and watch it at home. And never means just skip it altogether. What are you giving The Boy and the Heron?
I love the experience of the movie theater, but the movie itself, I'm going to give it later. I want you to experience it, you know, see the beauty, the majesty. But if you get a 4K movie, you can still have that. You know, with a 75-inch TV, 4K movie, it's going to be just as beautiful, right? But this it's not the greatest movie I've seen. You know, he's done better. This is not, you know, as I said, it's not a masterpiece. It's good. It's worth watching. You know, but it's a later. That's just for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a later as well, just because I think if I watch this a few more times, my feelings might change. Because this does seem like a movie where you have to watch it a few times to get some of the themes that they kind of rush through really quick, you know. Because that was my issue, was like, what was the theme? Like, you know, at the end it was like, oh, it's okay to forget. I was like, wait, is that the theme? Is that the message I'm supposed to get from it?
Trying to tell me, really?
You know, so you know, so yeah, so there's that. But I think later, like for what you said, get a 4K, you know, put some surround sound on, watch it high def, and watch it a few times, you know, because I think watching it a few times will probably be best. Yeah, I mean, I'll go see it again in theaters if I had the time, you know, and if there weren't a bunch of other movies coming out, I would definitely go see it again, because it is gorgeous to see it in the theater. And if you love Miyazaki, if you love Studio Ghibli, and you love like well done animated movies, I would go see it in the theater for sure. But for the most part, I just for rating wise, later for me. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about The Boy and the Heron. Are you more with the critics and then the overall Rotten Tomato score, you know, them being like the 90s, you know, or are you kind of somewhere in between, you know, like we are, you know, where it was great, sounded great, looked great, but kind of was But leave a comment. let us know what you think about this one. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and come and join us live every Monday and Thursday. We're talking movies, TV, streaming, Hollywood news, and comic books, and just hanging out with chat sometimes. So make sure you come and hang out with us Mondays and Thursdays. We appreciate everyone checking us out on this video. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. We will see you guys in the next movie review.